stone has no moss. I've worn out my shoes, running through these honky-tonks, singing the Ewing Branch Blues.
Welcome everybody to Ewing Branch Blues. I'm your host, Dylan Merrill, out here recording at the Pump House today. It's our debut episode. I'm here with Greenup County native Johnathon Cox. He's a solo artist, cutting his teeth, trying to make it big in the music industry. Right now, we're lucky enough to catch him on the uptick. Here soon, we won't even be able to buy a ticket to his show, I'm sure. We're absolutely spoiled and blessed to have artists like him out here, and that's kind of the inspiration of the whole podcast. When I listen to the radio, I hear all these music artists, and they're out, and I just, you listen to the radio, and you like it, you hate it. Most of it, it's okay. It's kind of passive. You could come or go, but man, you go to some of these local music venues, and man, I just don't understand why you don't hear more of them on the radio. It's incredible the talent you hear at a lot of these different venues, and really like at the Pump House, you pay $10 donation or whatever they take up, and you can come see just amazing artists from all over the tri-state area. We truly are spoiled and blessed to have the type of talent that we listen to every single day around in this area. I can't believe it's like this everywhere. It would be absolutely amazing if it was. I booked some artists out here at the Pump House, and I was trying to book Tom T. Hall one time, and this has just been a few months ago, and I said, man, you don't even have to play a show. You don't have to play one show. All you have to do is come out and tell some stories, man. We would love it. And he said, and I'm going to butcher his quote, I'm sure, but he said his days of telling stories are gone. The art of telling stories in country music is gone. I think nobody has told the music artists that are playing live and well around this area. I don't think anyone's told them that. And actually, I have one of those singer-songwriters here with me today. How you doing today, Johnathon Cox?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from? What inspired you? Kind of what your music has going on, bud?
I'm here from Greenup County. I'm a local native here. And, I've always grown up in a more musical family. On my mom's side, my family, we grew up playing bluegrass gospel, and we'd go to different rest homes and different churches and play. And then I picked up a banjo. I first learned how to play a banjo in 8th grade. And then in 9th grade, I stole my brother's guitar, locked myself in my mom and dad's bedroom with a bluegrass book that showed how to play the chords, and I didn't come out until I learned how to play a song on it.
Wow!
And so that's where all that started. And then from then on, I just started writing down my thoughts and feelings into a notebook, and they came out as songs. And I remember the first song that really got me into it is one called "Girl of My Dreams." It's one that I have on my EP on iTunes and stuff. The Key to Life EP. It's one of my songs on there. And I wrote it about a girl back in, I think it was my junior year of high school. And I never thought that song would ever make it anywhere. I just kind of wrote it for that girl, and then I kind of wrote it just to show my feelings. And I put it on Facebook, and within like 3 days, it was getting like 10,000 views.
It just blew up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I had people from Kansas, Missouri, Mississippi all messaging me and saying, wow, you really need to keep at this. And I was like, well, maybe this is a sign that I really should try to get more involved into it.
Wow, no kidding.
And then, throughout my high school years, I started writing a little bit more songs. And then my first year out of high school, I was with a girl, and I wrote some songs about her. And then after we broke up, I also wrote some more songs about her, about how my heartbreak. And
inspiration.
Then,
yeah, for sure.
And then there was one night I was driving home from somewhere, I can't even remember, and there was a song just popped up in my head, and I was like, man, I've got to get home, and I've got to write this. And I walked straight in the house, gave my mom a kiss on the cheek, and said, sorry, I got to write this song. Good night, love you.
It was just like that.
I went upstairs, and my song, Key to Life, I wrote it in about 30 minutes that night.
That quick?
Yep.
It was just coming out that quick? That's crazy.
I mean, there's sometimes, during church, I'll be sitting there, and I'll just be, I'll be thinking I probably should be thinking about what the pastor's saying, but I always, like, some things just like come to my head, and I'll nudge my mom and be like, hey, let me have a pen and a piece of paper. I've got to write this down. And she always knows the drill because it happens all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And
she got used to it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And she gave me a pen, and I started writing another song right there. You know, what I mean, I got home, did the same thing, wrote another song, which is, I mean, it's an unreleased one. And there's sometimes I'll be at work and something will pop up in my head, and I'll write a full song just right there.
And just take off.
Yeah. And I've got notebooks full of unfinished songs at my house, but I just
incredible.
never finished them.
That's crazy, man. It's amazing to me. I guess it's because I have no talent writing music at all. And so when I hear somebody that say they can just write one like that, it blows me away. You hear of other artists. I've heard John Fogerty just whipping songs out, and other just amazing like songwriters that can just spit songs out.
Yeah.
But so you talked about church,
Mm-hmm.
and you talked about, maybe life experiences.
Yes.
At least, is that where you draw your inspiration? I mean, I hear a lot of people, especially in this area, have a lot of church influence. Now, the lyrics might branch off into whatever leads their pen or whatever, but church seems to drive a lot.
Yeah. Around this area, church does influence a lot of people because, I mean, in these coal mining communities around us and surrounding areas where steel mills are shutting down, and railroads are shutting down, coal docks, coal mines are all shutting down, and that's leaving families.
It's Euland Branch Blues right there, ain't it?
And so they turn back to God, and they're like, man, we've got to have somebody to help us. And that's where that's where most people around here's hope comes from, is from God.
Absolutely.
That's why it's such a big influence around here, is because people realize that they can't just rely on themselves to get through things.
Absolutely.
You also have to rely on someone much greater than you.
Oh man, absolutely. So you're an artist, and you're cutting your teeth, and what are some of your favorite venues to play at?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Right here in the Pump House is my favorite place of all time.
Y'all hear that?
Play.
That's a good plug, right there.
And I'm not just saying that because we're recording it in here. It really is. I've went and played in Orlando, Florida before in front of major people in the music industry, and they'll ask me the same thing. What kind of venues are your favorite? And I said, my home, the Pump House.
I like it.
I love. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I've told so many people about this place, and I try to get its name out there as much as I can.
Well, we super appreciate that. It's amazing because when we started the Pump House, it's been, man, I don't even know, a year and a half, two. We was trying to pin it down, and I think it's because it's been an evolution. It's kind of, Jim Ed he passed away. The old man passed away, and he this building is now his wife's, but she lets us use it. She lets my father-in-law and his brother use it. Rob Hensley and Dwight Hensley, they use this a lot. But it's kind of evolved over time as like a project, this growing project. And then we had this idea, let's start having music out here. So we get the first act out here, and it sounded amazing out here. I mean, they even just had just one little speaker, and just the acoustics in here and everything just sounded amazing. But then the people we started meeting and the artists, we had no idea. Mm-hmm. Like Charlie Woods and Deep Hollow just live like 7 mailboxes up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never met you if we didn't start doing this, because then we started song farming, artist farming, trying to find these people around here.
Yeah.
And then you came out and you supported us. I remember the first time you was out here with us was that Kid Festival we threw. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Sure
We didn't have a mic. We didn't have a speaker. We didn't have anything. You sat on a picnic table out under some trees, started playing, gathered a little crowd. I think Dwight ran off and grabbed you some equipment.
Yeah.
We got you up on a trailer. And, man, you just started killing it, man. That was our first experience meeting you.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. We still talk about that today. We appreciate that, man. That supported us big time. Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Like, I guess 2-part question. What do you have going on for you right now? And then where do you see yourself in a few years?
Right now I'm actually working on saving up some money to be able to move to Nashville. And I'm wanting to, go down there and further my career. I set short-term goals and long-term goals for myself. Right now, a short-term goal is, to move to Nashville and make that big move. And then my long-term goal is just to make it somewhere in music, country music, because, I mean, I remember a saying that I heard off of a movie called Here Comes the Boom. It's got Kevin James in it. And the movie's about, Kevin James, his character goes and he becomes an MMA fighter to save a music program in school. And there's something, one of the people say in there, it's a saying by a man named Frederick Nietzsche. He was a composer. Without music, life would be a mistake.
Oh, wow.
And that really, and I've followed that saying my whole life, because, I mean, it really, music impacts people in a larger effect than what you could ever imagine.
Absolutely.
It can bring the most depressed person out of that. And, I mean, music's healing.
Oh, absolutely.
In most instances, yeah.
It's just a natural medicine, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
And so I'd say, one of my goals is to, move to Nashville, and then my long-term goal is to make it in music and let people hear my voice.
Well, still at banjo, lock yourself in a room and figure it out, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Or still at guitar, your brother's guitar, right? Lock yourself in a room, figure it out down there in Nashville. Maybe you'll find a big room, lock yourself in Nashville for sure.
Yeah.
That's where everyone's saying there's just a lot of opportunities down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great around here and everything's amazing, but man, there's just the opportunities down there. It's just man. Well, don't forget about us when you make it big.
Oh no, I can't forget my home.
Well, let's hear a song from you here, bud. Well, what are you gonna sing for us first?
The first one I'll sing is one off of my EP that I have out on Amazon Music, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, all that. It's called "You and Me."
You and Me. All right, let's check it out.
I was there, felt all alone, felt like I had no place to call my home. Then an angel appeared, showed me how true love feels. You've been a light to my darkest of days. Yeah, you've been my saving grace. And I don't know where I'd be if you wouldn't have found me. And I don't know what I'd do if I wouldn't have ran into you. I'm just glad that it happened, baby. You and me. Through the good times and the bad, I will give you all I have. My heart rests in your hands. I will love you, be your man. One day you'll be wearing white, and I can finally call you my wife. And I don't know where I'd be if you wouldn't have found me. And I don't know what I'd do if I wouldn't have ran into you. I'm just glad that it happened, baby. You and me.
Wow, that was incredible, man. That was a great song. How old were you when you wrote that song?
I was 18 when I wrote that song.
18.
Yep.
God, dog, man.
Yeah.
How you drawing that much at 18? Like, people think, man, you ain't lived nothing, but something got a hold of you to be able to draw lyrics on a song like that. Man, it's true life.
Yeah, I actually wrote that song. I hate to say it, but there was a girl I was with that I thought I was, in love with.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
That's one of the songs I was talking about that I wrote for her.
Oh, I got you.
The one I said after I got out of high school. Yeah, it was that one. I wrote that song, for her, about her, whatever. Wow. And that's where that one came from.
She broke your heart, but she gave us that. So
yeah, most definitely.
Love, hate right there. Yeah. So let's hear another. Let's jump right into. I want to hear another one. Let's jump right into another one. What else you got for us? And give us another one here. What you got?
I got one that I could it's one that I wrote about a girl that I was with for a while, and she just all of a sudden just changed and ended up leaving. And then the second part of the song, well, I worked at a coal dock there about a year ago, and there's a guy that I worked with that I was working side by side with him, every day.
You're right.
And he always talked to me about how, it's hard for him and his family to, I guess survive with the money that he was getting from the coal.
Oh, man. 'Cause, that's real life.
It's a hard job with kind of low pay.
Right. No, absolutely.
They're definitely not paid enough.
Not paid enough, for sure. Yeah.
And so I put, both of them experiences and put them together, and I was like, what am I going to do for a chorus? And so I just wrote about how you just kind of got to deal with it and roll with the punches.
So you just kind of meshed it together. Yeah. It's kind of two different concepts there, meshed it together. And man,
and, it's called One Day at a Time.
That's
you just got to live your life one day at a time.
Man, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The day finally came when she packed all her things and finally left me for good, for some other man with thieving hands who stole the girl that I love. 'Cause I watched her go, seen her true colors show, wishing didn't even look back my way. With skin so fair and her long dark hair, she'll have you wishing she'd say, but it wasn't meant to be that way. 'Cause you can't change the hands of time, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. Nod your head, fake your smile, and pretend everything is alright. Just live this life one day at a time. He goes to work in the coal mine and dirt to make for his family and kids. Between the government man and Uncle Sam's hand, he barely has enough for them. When he comes home at night to his children and wife, he sees how blessed he is. They ain't got a lot, but they sure know what true love is. I think we should all be that way. 'Cause you can't change the hands of time, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. Nod your head, fake your smile, and pretend everything is alright. And just live
Man, that has some powerful lyrics in it right
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
Mean, that's incredible there.
Thank you.
See, how do I not hear that on the radio? I mean, stuff like that, it's all over this area that we just don't hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a little better when you get on Sirius radio and they get into, there's different radio stations you can listen to and stuff. But, man, what is it about this area that has these singer-songwriters that are able to come up with the stuff that people like yourself come up with?
I feel that most of them have lived a lot more than what most people have lived.
So they're older than what their actual ages are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I may be 20 years old, but I've lived more than what most 40-year-olds have.
Right.
I've experienced a lot. I've dealt with a lot in my life. And all of those things lead up to what I write about. I don't want to call it a journal, but I write.
Right.
I write my feelings and my thoughts in a book.
Right.
And those are my songbooks.
Right.
And I always tell my family, because I grew up on a farm, a tobacco and a cattle farm. And, we stopped raising tobacco when I was about 10, so I really didn't get to experience that much, but I always listened to what my mom and dad had to go through at them times.
Right. So their heartaches become yours at an early age, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I'm the youngest of 6, and raising 6 kids on a tobacco farm, that was hard to do back in them times.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
yeah, it was.
And it really is. People around here experience so much more, and they live so much more than what most people ever will. Because, you got to think somebody that grew up in Chicago or New York, they don't get to see the things that we do.
That's right.
Like these hills, these cattle, these plowed fields. They don't get to see that stuff.
That's right.
And
Sheltered from it, for sure.
Yeah. And, it's sad because I want people to experience that stuff and see the beauty in all of this.
That's right.
And, I feel like that's why most people can.
When I first moved to this area, I was trying to find a job, and I kept getting laid off.
Yeah.
I got on TruVac, got laid off. Then I thought my ship come in when I got on CSX, got laid off. Then AK, laid me off. And I'm fortunate enough to land on my feet. But at the same time, it's like a lot of people, if they keep losing their jobs, they're going to go somewhere else where there's more opportunities.
Yeah.
There's the opportunities seem like they're falling off into the river.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
But from the ashes, you singer-songwriters have been able to really make some really powerful messages through those kind of hardships. Well, through those hardships, you all have made some really powerful messages.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, I think that's what's drawing everybody in. You see people from this area starting to really go big in the industry, but they have so much to write about.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's not just what they've experienced. It's what their family and they're just like you said, their parents and grandparents struggling in this area.
Most definitely, yeah.
Because, I guess it used to be bustling at one time, but for the longest time, this whole area has been hurting.
Yeah.
And I don't care what flag you fly, red or blue, when you're down in a holler, you're seeing the same colors.
Oh, yeah.
Most Republican, definitely. Democrat, I don't care. You're seeing the same color. And I'm not going to get into politics. There's a sign on the wall over it that says, things here at the pump house, and Bluegrass Mama Creations actually made it, and I think it came from a fight that was out here, but she made a sign that said topics to avoid at the building. And at the time, we called this the building, now it's the pump house. But it's politics, religion, and feelings. Feelings. And, just the only thing about the politics I'll get into, it's funny because you might have more in common with a neighbor 7 mailboxes up from you, but you might be fighting because of what somebody said in Washington. Yeah. And they've never been to this area.
Yeah.
So when you're down in this area and doing the hardships, you're living the same life. Mm-hmm. Those politicians and stuff, they're sheltered. Or a lot of them are sheltered from the hardships that a lot of these families around here go through.
And one thing that I heard from another guy on a podcast, he said, it kind of offends me when politicians tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. How can they say that when they've never had to even wear a pair of boots?
Yeah, they've never had
boots
on them. That's right. That's right.
And it's kind of, I don't know, it is kind of a slap in the face for people around here because you don't see anybody coming around here anymore trying to at least help a little bit.
That's right.
You know, and
you get little nuggets of hope right here and there, and you know, we hope Brady moves in, right? Brady
yeah.
But what have we lost? Right? I mean, the railroad used to be one of the biggest railroads, or at least one of the biggest yards in the country, if not bigger than that, at one time.
AK.
You know, AK Steel's out.
Yeah.
We're hoping Brady comes in. That would be amazing for the whole area.
Awesome.
That would be amazing, you know. But at the same time, you know, the feuding and the fighting, you look through the same lens when you're out here trying to survive together.
Yeah.
And you all are bringing in amazing messages out of it. And at least there's some kind of bright star to it.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
So maybe it puts y'all at an advantage as singer-songwriters to look at it that
like
way.
I said, you know, music hits a lot harder than what just regular words ever will.
That's right.
And if you can get your message into music and get it to touch somebody,
It seems more powerful, don't it?
oh my gosh, yeah.
Seems like if you can make it fit together with words and melody, it's more powerful. People listen, right?
Yeah.
I guess because your mouth's got to be shut to be listening to music, right? And a lot of times when you're just arguing with somebody, you're in your head trying to think about what you're going to say.
Exactly.
But when you're listening to a song, your mouth's got to be shut so you can hear it.
Yeah, you're connecting with it.
And some people might be the only time they shut their mouth, you know, long enough to hear.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to get at least one more out of you.
All right.
You got another one for me?
Yeah.
Tell me the name of it, the inspiration of the song, when, how old were you when you wrote it?
This one I'm going to play is, this one's called My Worst Enemy. It was one that I wrote, you know, back in a time where I was just very, I don't know, I was kind of in my head all the time, and I don't want to bring pity on myself, but I was kind of depressed.
Right.
You know.
Oh, everybody.
There was
in this area.
the girl that I was with at the time. She's the same one I wrote the One Day at a Time. That song, the girl that inspired the first part of it, it's the same girl. And I don't think it really hit me how hard that hurt until, you know, I was completely over it.
Absolutely.
And I look back and I'm like, wow, that was a horrible time.
Right,
you know?
right.
So
kind of in a state of shock
and,
or whatever. Yeah.
That's another one of them things where, you know, you just put your thoughts and your feelings on a piece of paper, pen and paper, and you write about it. And maybe somebody's feeling the same thing that you were.
That's right.
Because, you know, if people come to me and ask, you know, what you got any advice for me playing these songs because I feel like I can't connect with them, I'm like, well, take yourself back to a time where you can feel yourself connect to it, and you will do better than you ever have.
That's right.
And, you know, if you take yourself back to a time where you were feeling the same thing that the singer-songwriter was feeling when they wrote that song, you'll connect with it harder than any song.
Let's hear it. I'm excited. Let's hear it.
2:30 in the night, lying awake in my bed, I'm drowning from all the broken dreams and promises in my head. I can't sleep. This nostalgia and might just kill me. I pray to God, will you please come down here and fix me? 'Cause my worst enemy is me. Early in the mornings, I drag my tired body to work to make the boss man money and to keep my mind off of her. Yeah, the one who left said I wasn't being who I needed to be, but she won't see what she chooses not to believe when I say my worst enemy is me. Late in the night, I finally get a break from this life. Sitting there, singing underneath these neon lights, and forgetting who she said I needed to be, and remembering what's really got a hold on me. It's my worst enemy. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, my worst enemy is me.
Man, those are incredible lyrics there. And aren't we all our own worst enemy? I mean, for the most part.
Definitely.
We can blame it on it. We can blame it on anything we want to blame it on, but so many times we're self-destructive and do it to ourselves or whatever. One thing I kind of wanted to ask you about, you know, I know we're dark and, you know, Euland Branch blues, we're singing the blues or whatever day, but on a different note, it's kind of a different world that we're living in. So it's everyone's got access to, you know, not everyone has the talent, but everyone has access to put their voice, their art, and do all this stuff. And we're hearing all these different artists on these different mixers and computers and stuff like that and throwing it. Do you think the days of the icons are dead? Those generation-lasting artists that I just feel like most of that was attributed to, like, there was nobody else on the radio except these few guys.
Yeah.
Now, believe me, you got to be super. I don't want to take anything away from it, but what helped them is once they got noticed and they got on the mainstreams, it was hard to compete.
Yeah. That's kind of a hard question. I mean, yes, I feel like it is, but no at the same time, because with the advantages that we're given, such as social media, you know, back then they didn't have that.
Oh,
if you heard an amazing voice on the radio, you followed that voice with everything.
That's right, and everybody did.
But now, you know, there's so many voices out there through social media where it's kind of hard to follow an iconic voice.
Right.
You know, there are people that are making, you know, a big stand in different, different genres of music. Like Post Malone, he had one of the biggest album sales in history.
Right. I mean, to argue
that's
that point,
crazy.
I mean, he's still selling, right?
Yeah,
so he's still getting it out there. Yeah,
he's still selling. He's still putting out records. And I mean, Luke Combs is like, I think 28 or 29.
Right.
And he's already been inducted into the Hall of Fame or the Grand Ole Opry.
Right.
Like, that's a lifelong goal for some people, and he's done it in like I think 4 years.
That's insane.
Because I remember I was in Nashville a few years ago. And it was when he was just getting big. I think he only had out like 3 or 4 songs, and I seen him at the Ryman.
Right.
And I didn't realize who I was listening to.
Yeah.
About a year later, I was looking back, and I was like, holy crap, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I feel like, you know, it is harder for people to focus on one group or one person as opposed to how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Where that's all you had.
I guess the industry might be more saturated.
Very
right?
much so, yeah.
It's super saturated, but there's also more ways to make money.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I guess it's a give and take on that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like this podcast, right? I mean, I got a couple $100 in equipment, and we can get our voices out.
Yeah.
You know, over however many people tune in and listen to it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, And those icons of generations of those bands that people listen to just generation after generation after generation. Yeah. Maybe what will happen is the peaks are higher and quicker, but maybe they won't be as long. But we don't have enough sample to see it, right? It hasn't been around long enough to see it. But, we heard your music, love it.
Yep.
You're a true singer-songwriter in the area. You completely represent Eastern Kentucky better than, anybody doing it right now. It's just as good as anybody doing it, if not better.
Thank you.
It's amazing. That. Those lyrics will touch anybody that lives around here. So tell me what else you got going on. What do we need to know about you? How do we connect with you?
Right now, I'm not doing any shows like during the fall and winter time because usually that's when my allergies decide to kick me in the face and start infecting my whole body.
Yeah, write a song about that.
This is my kind of write a song about that. But yeah, this is my kind of like my off time of the year where I kind of let my voice rest and I get in my room and I start writing stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of take a break. But if something pops up here and there, like I'll go do some shows and stuff. Gotcha. But to follow and like connect, I have a Facebook page under Johnathon Cox Music, and then Instagram is John_Cox57.
Gotcha.
And I usually devote both of them pages just to music.
So John, that's JON?
JOHN.
JOHN _ Cox.
Yeah. JOHN_Cox57. That's my Instagram.
Gotcha.
And then the Johnathon Cox Music is JOHNATHON COX Music.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I usually post on both of them. And then here lately I've been trying to get into, making YouTube videos. And so it's just under Johnathon Cox, JOHNATHON COX.
Right, easy enough.
On YouTube. I've just been messing around and fooling around and trying to get do some covers and get my name out there a little bit more. And then on top of all that, I have a EP out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, pretty much anything you can listen to music on.
You
stream music on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's under my name. Key to Life is the name of the EP, and there's 6 songs on there. And it's me, my voice, my guitar, and I had a fiddle player come in and do her thing in there.
And that fiddle player, I heard a little bit about that, and man, that changed. That changes it. That just adds a different dimension.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
When you was playing at the Pump House and had Molly up there with you.
Yeah, that was
dude,
amazing.
That was insane, really. Yeah. We've had some great shows out here at the Pump House, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you for doing this podcast with me.
It.
It's our premiere episode. You're number 1. You're the first one. So
it's an honor.
So hopefully hopefully we don't play for Kentucky and we're one and done. Hopefully I have many episodes coming through.
Yeah.
But y'all are listening to Euland Branch Blues right here, recording from the Pump House. We're digging up artists. We're finding artists. Please submit them. What helps us is if you go to the Pump House's page, you hit the like button. That'll attach you to any kind of podcast episode that's coming out, any show that we're doing. Come out and see us. We're finding artists. Submit artists if you know of anybody. Suggestions, take them. They might be our next guest on Euland Branch Blues. And right here, we're meeting the artists. You may love them, you may hate them, but you're going to meet them right here on Euland Branch Blues. Thank you, guys.
Rolling Stone has no moss, I've worn out my shoes.